Greetings, students. Today we are going to have our first lecturette on Chapter 1. So hopefully some of you have delved into the chapter and read over the chapter. If you haven't, this is a condensed version. I'm highlighting some of the important aspects of the chapter, and then when we meet for our synchronous class, we're actually going to have some discussion topics around these areas that we're talking about today and that are in the chapter. So first thing I want to do is have you ponder something for a minute. I want you to think about a question that I've take a minute here and think about this. If there was a test that you could take that would either tell you or a loved one or family member or someone that's close to you that the likelihood that they would develop diabetes later in life, would you take that test? And then why or why not? So I want you to think about this for a minute. So if you know someone that has diabetes, or maybe you've been around family members that have it, maybe you even have it your minute, why or why not? Think. What we're looking at here, and this is why my genomics will fit into that, is that this is the leading causes of death here in the United States. So when you look at the top 10 killers among Americans, this is what we see. Heart disease, cancer, stroke, and diabetes are highlighted. Why are those highlighted? Those are highlighted because these are the ones that are nutrition related, meaning that we definitely know that people that are dying of these things, there is a direct correlation and a direct relationship between nutrition and developing these diseases and or death. Okay, so this is what we call preventable diseases. Okay, so now here comes back in this whole point of maybe a healthy diet can positively affect gene expression. So this is a new field and a new area in the dietetics or nutrition realm. And what we're saying is that we definitely know that with chronic diseases that there are certain things in either our genetic makeup, our environment, or our diet that are influencing these genes to develop inside of our body and cause genetic variants or gene variants. And there are also things that we know on the flip side of that from science, that there are things that can help prevent and or enhance the body's ability to provide function for these things. And so this is the field of what we call nutritional genomics. And so nutritional genomics is the studied relationship among gene expression, nutrition, and health. And so there is a test for diabetes. They actually will, it's a test that anybody can do it now. It's just a very, very costly test. Usually costs upwards of $300 if you wanted to pay out of pocket for it. You mail it, looking at some of the gut microbiome that you have inside your gut. And it's able to determine that based off of our gut is so important in our immune system. And so they're able to look at some of these immune variants for diabetes, either type 1 or type 2, and see if perhaps you're holding some of those. So there's a couple different actually tests out there that we can use. So I'm excited for this area of nutrition, and it's come a long way, and it's moving super fast. And so again, if some of you are not necessarily nutrition majors out there, but you're thinking about nutrition as a major, this is the evolutionary field of where nutrition is going, and I find it very fascinating, and I hope that you, as we go through this course, will too. Okay, now, so I've been saying how these foods and how they can help. So this is a table that's in your book that I want you to just take a look at. These are just a small smidgen of food as function for our body. And so what we're saying here is, for those of you, if there's a male in the audience that's watching this, if you've ever heard of lycopene, which when we're looking at the screen, lycopene over here, may lower the risk for prostate cancer. So when we look specifically at males, something when I'm looking at their diet, I'm asking them, I'm trying to find out if they have lycopene in their diet so that they can have some fight against prostate cancer. Also, if prostate cancer runs in their family and they've told me that, then I want to talk to them about a diet that actually has high in lycopene. And so here is tomatoes. So tomatoes are very high in lycopene. So if we have a male who wants to eat salsa, I want to encourage that because it's going to help them prevent prostate cancer, could possibly. So that's what these foods are. So take a look at some of these. We call them sometimes superfoods, but the definition really is functional foods. Okay, now we've talked a little bit about the health, and you've heard me use the word dietetics and nutrition and dietitian. So what is nutrition? And that's part of what the beginning of the chapter focuses on. And so what we look at here is nutrition as a science, okay? And this is a science-based field. And what we're looking at is how nutrients in the body can nourish our body and what they do as a functional part. So you'll notice if you go through some of the chapters that as we go through this, we're actually going to focus specifically on some of these areas. And within every chapter of the nutrient, we're going to be exploring how is the food digested in our body, how is it absorbed in our body, how is it transported or metabolized, and where does it go? Is it stored in my body? Is it excreted in my body? So we kind of look at the science part of it that way, but there's even more to nutrition than that. So what I have done is I have put together your first assignment. So right here you have a nutrition assignment based off of this developing a short video for me on what you feel nutrition is for you.